What's up guys, it's your AP Tech host. Thank you very much for joining me today. As you already guessed from the video title, that today basically we're going to discuss in detail, do I regret buying this BMW? I've got one of my brothers who's going to ask me some couple of questions from himself and also some questions from my YouTube family. So now, if you found this video useful and it helped you in any way of making decisions before buying any car, so please give us a thumbs up. Obviously the YouTube algorithm likes that, and if you have any questions, as usual, give us a comment in the section and then we'll come back to you as soon as possible. Roll the intro. Today basically I'll be joined by one of my brother, Ali. So he's going to be sharing with me, he was going to be sharing with you some questions that he has and make some sort of a decision before buying any car. So as a BMW owner, I've also had a BMW 1 Series prior to this car. So that now what we're going to do is literally go through some pros and cons and some questions that he has prepared and some questions from the YouTube family. So Ali, do you want to introduce yourself and what sort of ideas do you have, or what sort of cars do you feel like buying a car as a first-time owner?
Obviously, I'm thinking of buying a BMW 1 Series. Also have an idea of a Vauxhall Corsa or a Polo. I want something that's small, that's easy to maintain, and also get me to A to B, and that looks aesthetically pleasing. The
choices that you've just selected, it goes a little bit in terms of so 1 Series is one of the top range as a BMW, their small packages that they have. Now you've mentioned Corsa, you've mentioned Golf. So now these are different categories. Golf, of course, is a little bit closer to the 1 Series. The Corsa is the cheapest to run. Insurance is obviously going to be cheap. 1 Series is going to be cheap compared to this f30 3 Series. So that depends on you. Obviously, if you're looking for aesthetic, build quality, insurance, maintenance, all of these things do come into play. So if we go for a drive, and now we're going to go through step by step how much I spend this 330 and in terms to maintain it, petrol, insurance, I'm going to go through in deep.
So I know you've been driving for a few years now. How many cars have you owned?
So in history I've had 4 cars. My first car was a Corsa. The second car was a Golf. So it was some sort of an upgrade from the Corsa to Golf. And then I've always had a passion of buying a 1 Series. So I bought 1 Series, but unfortunately I didn't keep that 1 Series for a very long time because I'm a family guy. You've already seen from my videos, I've got little kids running around, so I thought, okay, get something a little bit bigger. So I ended up buying the 3 Series. And obviously now the cars that I have had, they've had some pros and cons in between all of them. So now, which car is the best car? That if you ask me this question, which car is the best, that depends on what you need it for. So if I was a student, let's say, I would buy something really small, like as you already said, you were interested in buying Corsa, Polo, maybe Golf or 1 Series. So these would be the cars that I would go for as a first-time owner. I wouldn't go straight to 3 Series because this is not something that would suit as a first-time owner. So what more questions did you have?
What are the benefits? What have you seen the benefits of having, or let's just say, how have you enjoyed what's your experience with this car? How have you found owning a 3 Series?
Okay, so my experience with this car is really good actually. So far I've got some minor things that I think there are really drawbacks, like things that I don't like, but there are some things that they literally shadow all of those negative stuff because there are some quirks. So this might be a good thing for you or it might be a bad thing for you. So for me, the 3 Series is not because of the look, it's not because of the rear wheel drive, because the 1 Series also had that. So now this car, because it's a hybrid, that's the positive things. I don't spend that much fuel. I spend, let's say, maximum £30 an entire month. But the trouble to that is that I have to go to charge the car very frequent. Now, how many miles does this car has? It drives fully electric about 18 miles. So 18 miles is not much. So where do you see this car has some drawbacks is that because now this car is a bigger brother to 1 Series. So I thought, now, is it really worth it? Because now this car, the fuel efficiency is not as good as 1 Series or the Golf or the Corsa, because obviously it has a bigger engine. So this is 2-litre engine petrol, so that eats a lot. My previous car was a diesel, so I used to pay a lot less. The insurance was cheaper. So yeah, so I'll go more detail in later questions.
So you've spoke about the drawbacks to having a BMW, but overall, what would you say your take is? Is it worth going all out for a 3 Series, or should I stick with the 1 Series as my first car?
Okay, no, as the first car, I would suggest you to buy a 1 Series, because now this 1 Series would basically give you the opportunity to feel if it's worth buying a bigger car, because 1 Series, the drive is actually pretty much the same as this one. Obviously this has a little bit more comfort. Now it totally depends on you if you are a bigger car person rather than a small car. 1 Series, the good things with that, not only with insurance or the fuel economy, it looks more sports, especially if you get something with 3 doors. So that depends on you. If you get 3 doors, that will be a lot more sportish. So now, I didn't say a lot negative about this car, but there are some negative things like maintenance. If you have some issues with something small you want to change, like for example headlight, that's going to cost you a lot. So just to change one side of the headlight, we're talking about about £700, and that's something that you need to think about. Where the Vauxhall Corsa or a Polo, it would have cost you a fraction of that, somewhere about £170. So that's a big difference. Again, spark plug, in terms of maintenance service, this is going to cost you a lot more, because you're buying basically a top-end car. BMW, Mercedes, Audis, these are the top cars that are currently on the road. So if you are basically interested in buying, I would suggest you as a first car to go for something really cheap, which is Golf or a 1 Series, where that way you're not spending so much money buying parts if you need to change any parts, insurance and all of that stuff.
Spoke about the Corsa, the Polo, the Golf and the 1 Series. What car out of all of them would you recommend me to get as my first car for one?
Okay, well, the Golf has a lot of potential, and it does actually compete with the 1 Series. In my opinion, as a first-time driver or a first-time owner for any car, I would actually go for the Golf, because now the Golf, it looks nice, is spacious, insurance is cheap. The 1 Series, it looks a lot better, but the insurance is not cheap. Okay, and because it has the badge BMW, I think, in my opinion, that would cost you a lot more in terms of the insurance. So I wouldn't actually suggest you to go ahead and buy the 1 Series. I would ask you, or I would suggest you to buy the Golf, because now Golf, they are very reliable, they don't have that much issue, and maintenance is quite cheap in terms of buying parts. Now, to conclude this video, as the title was about do I regret buying this BMW or the 1 Series, I don't actually regret buying this BMW. This BMW has basically saved me a lot of money in terms of fuel, but on top of that, I've never had any issues in terms of maintenance. I've never taken to a garage in terms of fixing certain things. but obviously I do modify certain things. That's because I want it to look more better than how it currently is, and this is personal taste. It doesn't have to be. Every single person who's watching this video, they don't need to modify these things. So again, and these are some hobbies that I do like. One last time, thank you very much for joining me today. Signing out.